Hi everyone and welcome back to IAI. Today we're doing something special and we have a practical lesson for you. We'll see how you can use Chat GPT to analyze what customers say about your business. We'll take a file that contains real Yelp reviews, about 200 of them, and then we're going to turn that into text and then into real insight of what people like and love and how managers make use of that information. So without any further ado, I'm going to pass it to Christian so he can show us what we're doing here today.
Thanks, Oscar. The first thing we did is to download a file with about 200 reviews from Yelp, and we're going to upload this file to Chat GPT. This is going to be our tool for today. And before we get started, one of the things we would like to tell you is that prior to this video, we worked with Chat GPT to come up with a set of prompts that would be useful for you to directly paste onto Chat GPT so that you can get the most out of it. So the first prompt is right here. I'm just going to copy it directly from the file that we prepared before. And I'm going to paste it directly into our Chat GPT window. And as you can see, we're telling Chat GPT what we want it to behave like. So in this case, a data analyst. And we're telling it that we're going to upload a spreadsheet. This is a CSV file, which, like I said before, we prepared beforehand. So we're going to go ahead and provide it with the file. It's going to upload the file. We're going to tell it to remove blank rows and remove any duplicates. We're going to tell it to tell us the number of rows after it's cleaned it, and then to show us the first reviews. It's going to tell us that it's removed 22 rows, which were duplicates, and it's going to show us the first 10 for us to see what they look like. And then we're going to move on to a second prompt, and this prompt, as you will see, is designed to start asking the AI for sentiment analysis, which is to classify each comment, each review into either positive or negative. Here, we are asking it to give us the results in what we call a markdown table. And the table is going to organize the review number, the actual text in the review, and the type of sentiment that it's been classified under, and why. We want AI to tell us why it thought this review was positive or negative. And we're going to do it in a way so that we can visualize all the 200 reviews step by step. Every step is going to contain 50 reviews. So we're going to do that. And we can see in this markdown table what we asked it to do. So we'll have the review number, we will have the actual review text, how the AI classified that particular review as positive in the first row, for example. We have the rationale for that particular classification. And so we can scroll down, it's done the work, hopefully it's finished for the first 50, which it is. And in the prompt, we told this to tell us when it is ready for us to type next so that it can go on to the next 50.
Christian, in the meantime, can you explain a little bit what sentiment analysis is in general terms?
In general terms, sentiment analysis, it's a tool that allows us to process or understand, classify text into text that reflects positive sentiment by the person who wrote a particular statement, or negative sentiment. So basically a computer processes that text into these types of buckets, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the next 50 here. You can scroll it down and then move on to the next 50 by typing next. And this is our next batch, which is the last one. In the meantime, we're going to go on to our next prompt. In this prompt, we're going to ask it to tabulate the data, meaning we want a summary of what percentage of the reviews were positive, how many were, or what percentage were negative, and how many were percentage-wise were neutral. And so we'll just type that. We'll first make sure it's done. And so we have a count with percentages of what we put in. Then we want to have some visual of what this looks like. So we'll have a next prompt. And here we're adding an example of how we want that visual to look like. We'll make available all these prompts in our show notes so that you can copy them exactly or modify them for your own purposes. And
You
so
had mentioned that these prompts came from ChatGPT initially, right?
exactly. So we interacted with Chat GPT before we got here, and we said we have this episode in mind. We know what sentiment analysis is, but we want to make a practical video for people who have a business, for example, and have tons of information about their customer reviews, but have a need to summarize these reviews and maybe come up with some managerial actionable items. And this is what we will try to provide with you today. And so these are the prompts that resulted from that interaction. So now we have a visual for that. Next prompt, we want to have a clear understanding of what these words or reviews look like. In particular, give us an analysis of the top phrases in the negative bucket and the top phrases in the positive buckets. And we want to see inside of the two types of comments that we get, what is actually happening. Okay, so we have the phrase on the first column and then the number of times that particular phrase has come up. In some cases, or in most cases in this particular application, the phrase is just a single word, but it could be a combination of words. So you can see that sometimes it says highly recommend or night food, perfectly cooked or perfectly. So for AI, these are phrases. It could be one or multiple words. And we can scroll down and look at the negative ones so we have a better idea with what frequency these words or phrases are coming up. Then we move on to the next prompt. We're going to just paste it here. Now we're moving into the territory of please give me some actionable items. Tell me or try to summarize the information that is contained in this analysis so that I can have a list of things that I can do. So we're asking it to tell us 3 things that we should keep doing, 3 things that we should fix next, and also tell us who the person who's responsible for those changes should take the lead in fixing those issues. So in this case, we see that we should keep doing 3 things: delivering high quality food, because this is what customers are saying frequently, maintaining quick and attentive service, and creating memorable dining experiences. And then it's identified 3 things that we should take a look at: cleanliness and presentation issues, and the owner of the place, the owner of this particular task should be the floor manager, rude or unfriendly staff interactions, and the responsible party should be the service lead person. And food consistency, the lead person should be whoever's in charge of the kitchen.
So for a real business owner, they could probably go to Google reviews or go to Yelp or something like that, create a list in a simple Excel sheet, right? And use that to feed this exercise?
Yes, it's actually very simple. So if you're not very familiar with spreadsheets and you have all of these comments on your website, you can just directly select that text as it is on the website and just feed it directly into ChatGPT and it'll be able to accept that. Alternatively, if you have a spreadsheet with each comment in each row, you can upload that file, which is what we've done here.
Okay.
And so lastly, we want to have an executive summary. So imagine you are working for this company and your boss has asked you to create a report so that he or she can look at it and see what needs to be done next. And so we can actually do that as well. And here's the prompt. It is asking ChatGPT to give us a professional PDF summary of all the things that we did. And we're going to click on that. So we need an overview, the sentiment breakdown, the top positives, top negatives, what are the recommended actions, and a chart.
This is a great tool. Actually, in my AI course, I teach my students how to do this utilizing certain algorithms from a programming perspective. So we use some Python code and we download data sets, but it's much more technical and it's really hard to keep up with the exercise. Whereas you can use plain natural language with ChatGPT and do exactly the same, probably even more powerful, because when you say, let's do sentiment analysis to ChatGPT, maybe the models that it's using to do the sentiment analysis are going to be much more complex than the one that I would use in the classroom for a simple exercise.
That's correct, Oscar. I think ChatGPT gives us a lot of flexibility. Depending on your skill set, you can challenge yourself, or you can make it as easy as we've been showing it to be right this second. So we're going to click on the PDF it's produced, and this should be a one-pager document of what it did. So we have, this actually doesn't look that professional, but we can go back to the prompt and tell it to make it a little bit nicer. But it's a really quick one-page summary of an analysis that would have taken a human many hours to go through all of those 200
And
reviews.
you can ask it to format it whichever way you
so
want
let's
it,
do
right?
that. So let's make the report look very professional. Okay, now the format is much better. It has nicely formatted tables and some colors, some really good, nice titles, so that a manager can follow through it more easily.
How did you call the sentiment distribution graphics? Text-based bar charts?
Yes, text-based bar chart.
Text-based bar chart.
Yeah.
That's very ingenious right there. So as you can see, today's video is a practical application of how we can use AI for entrepreneurship. This tool specifically would be a powerful managerial tool in order to help you understand what your customers are thinking about you based on some real data, and how to use that to make your business even more competitive and more profitable, ideally. So thank you for being here. This is the end of the video. If you're all the way down here, please consider giving us a like, subscribe to our channel. It helps us a whole lot. This video is not paid by ChatGPT, but we certainly recommend it as many other tools. So we will see you in the next video. Have a great day. Adios.
Be on the lookout for more practical IAI videos. Bye.